Ah, ¿por qué?
Por el trabajo. Ya estamos trabajando aquí, ¿ve?
Ah,
Sí.
¿trabaja por mes?
Trabajamos para nosotros y tienen que pagar
¿Cuánto?
los 300.
No.
Sí.
Y los
No.
otros no pagan. Hey, this is Next Meridian. We are Nick and Mathilde, and we left everything behind to travel the world with our Land Rover Defender Albatross. 3 years, 7 continents, 88 countries, and just the road as a home. And we're about to cross the border
To Guatemala.
to Guatemala. We're very excited. It's going to be country number 15 on our world tour. And it's a big country with a lot of history, archaeological sites, a lot of nature, volcanoes, cave jungle, all of the things we like, and we're looking forward to discovering it. Let's go! So, as usual, we arrived in Guatemala prepared but not full of preconceived ideas. We have about no idea of what we will find here. All we know and notice immediately is that we can say goodbye to Belize island vibe and English speaking, and hola to Latin and Mayan vibes again. What is it to drive through Guatemala? We experimented some ups and some downs, but the journey was definitely worth it.
Yep.
We're in Guatemala!
Woohoo! We're in. Let's go. Nice.
We crossed the border at lunch, and now we're already in the Tikal National Park, which is just on the side of the Belize border. So Tikal is known for the archaeological ruins. It's a huge Maya site, but also it's a place where many people say there's a lot of wildlife, because the jungle north of Tikal is huge and goes all the way to Mexico. So we're hoping we'll be a bit more lucky in seeing some wildlife here in the next day than we were in Belize or even in Mexico. So hopefully, we'll see maybe some monkeys at least while we check out the routes. Wow! Et les gars, ils vont tomber des conneries sur nous. Ah, il est juste là. So last night, just after crossing the border, we drove to sleep in the middle of the jungle in a place called Huachaktun. It's also an archaeological site, but it's also a Mayan village. You can sleep at the entry of the archaeological site, so that's what we've done. And basically your only neighbors are monkeys and birds, so the night was awesome. This morning as well.
Good to go.
Good to go.
All right.
Where are we going?
Going to Tikal.
Tikal.
We finally got to see some of the wildlife we were so dying to see, and it's loaded with images that we leave our camp and go visit Tikal. The real star in terms of archaeological site in the entire Guatemala is not our little site of this morning, it is Tikal. How is it?
Nice, it's big.
Pretty impressive, huh?
Yeah.
Tikal is not any archaeological site, but it's the largest excavated site on the American continent and contains the remains of a giant Maya city populated with around 90,000 people at some point of its height around year 700.
Place is nuts. Looks wild. Look at this. Alright, that one's my house. Maybe this one actually. Look how big this one is.
May I have all the rest?
You have everything? Okay.
After that, we take the road again, direction southeast of the country. Slowly, we leave the jungle and head toward the mountains. Guatemala got its name from Nahuatl word, Guatemala. Sorry for the pronunciation. It means place of many trees. It might very well be the place of many trees, but it is also the place of many people. It is the most populated country of Central America. Less so because there is big crowds. We mean here that there are people and small villages everywhere.
Get into the next town, we have to go through a ferry. Look at that, it's pretty cool.
It's really cool. It's quite funny and interesting to learn how those things work. So apparently there's the main barge, like the public barge, is 15 quetzal, but there's often a lot of trucks. And then there you have smaller boats that you can get. It's double the price, like 30 quetzal. 30 quetzal is what? 3.5 euros. It's a bit more expensive. It's the double, but you have it for yourself. I think we'll take the normal one, the public one, because there's only like a bus and a truck in front of us, so it should go pretty fast. Who says people and villages everywhere also means that it is harder for us to just hide in the nature when we need to find a place to camp. So at this point in our journey, we experimented with a few solutions more or less successful. Last night we slept in a palm plantation. That's quite original. Why did we sleep here? Is because we didn't find actually so many camp spots alongside the road in side tracks. I guess Guatemala is much more populated, so you see a lot more small villages everywhere. And the terrain, the wild terrain, they're almost all fenced. The plantation option worked that night, but just to give you an idea, it did not work every time.
Tonight we sleep at the fuel station. couldn't find any place for so long, so we ended up just deciding to go park up at the fuel station.
We got kicked out of our first spot.
Got kicked out of our first spot in a banana plantation.
So now we're heading to Semuk Falls. It looks beautiful, so we have another 3.5 hours on a road we heard is also known for having a bit more roadblocks like the one we experienced in Chiapas. So just like people pulling a rope in the middle. So let's see if we encounter that or not. And off to Semuk. So from here we continue our way and we're now heading in the mountain, out of the main roads. Here, no concrete roads, just beaten up trails used by people of the villages in the area as tiring daily commutes.
The road has started to be pretty bad. So we're deflating from 3.1 down to 2.5 in the back.
We're going to encounter some ropes or roadblocks. It's because of Overland. If you look at this road we're taking right now, where the blue dot here, you see those red signs. There's like 4 of them along that one road. They're actually reports from other travelers that have been repeatedly like noticing the same thing. So here there's one. And there's actually several people who comment about the same place and same guy putting a rope across the road, stopping the traffic and asking for money. So yeah, that's one, and there's like 3 others on this same road.
And sure enough, just a few minutes later,
and here is the rope. Okay, let's see what we do with that. And there are 2 people instead of one we were expecting.
Tiene que pagar
Ah, ¿por qué?
por el trabajo. Ya estamos trabajando aquí, ¿ve?
Ah,
Sí.
¿trabaja per mes?
Trabajamos para nosotros y
Ah.
tiene que pagar
¿Cuánto?
los 300.
No.
Sí.
Y los
No.
otros no pagan.
No, no tengo. ¿Puedo darte 50?
No.
Más de 50 no tengo.
Sí, todos los carros tienen por el trabajo.
Va, entonces esperamos.
Podemos esperar, no pasa nada.
50 cada uno. 50.
No. 25. Tengo solo esto.
Mais demande-lui d'ouvrir d'abord.
¿Puede abrir?
Sí, sí.
Ok. ¿Puede retirar la piedra? Gracias.
¿Ya?
Sí, un momentito. Yo te doy, no pasa nada. Espero que...
and that's rope number 2.
Ah putain, ils sont 2 aussi.
They really upgraded the game.
Ouais. So we've got 2 roadblocks. They definitely upgraded their games since the comments we've seen on the app. On the comments they were talking about like 1 guy with 1 rope possibly, and the 2 blocks we got were 2 guys with rocks, big rocks in the middle of the road, and the rope. So like you cannot even like just push the rope slowly. You also have to have them remove the rocks, which makes the whole thing a bit more difficult to handle.
We got a bit stuck with the first one and ended up paying 50 quetzal. He was asking for 300 and was pretty mad with the 50. And Nick even saw them like trying to intimidate us, like putting their hand in their like trousers where they have like knife or machete, and he was like, "¿Qué haces? Like, what are you doing now?" And the guy like removed his hand and was like, "Nada, nada." So that was the first one, and then second one we were like, okay, we need to have our game and like stand our stand a bit stronger. And we have this number for like touristic support because they know these kind of things can happen. So there's a number for travelers in Guatemala. It's the 1500. So right when we arrived, we saw the guys, they were sitting on the side and they started working like crazy right when we arrived. And we told them, no guys, you're not working, we've already paid the previous one, that's it, we're not paying a second time. And they were like, no, you're not passing. And so Nick called the number and started being like, okay, well wait, I'll call the number, I'll figure it out. And then the guys were like removing the rope and removing the rocks on the road, and they were like, okay, pasa. So they really didn't like the phone call, so I think that's going to be our strategy until now, because it seems to be working pretty well.
Rope number 3.
No, está bien, pagamos ya.
And rope number 4.
I think we've got bad reputation in the valley because now the last action was literally guys removing rocks in front of our car and not asking for anything.
Twice.
There's a new strategy ongoing.
Obviously there's like, you know, a clash between like, you know, what our need is and what their need is because they don't go together, and it's kind of tough to have to manage this, especially as a tourist when you don't know. I think we're just gonna have to get better at, you know, understanding how to get past these situations, because we can't pay everybody, and this is every kilometer, so that means every 15 minutes, and they're all asking for 340 euros. That's not sustainable at all for us, but you know, it's just not gonna happen. So we're kind of happy right now that, you know, when you stand your foot at the beginning, of course gently and kindly. The last two roadblocks, the guys I think know our car now because they probably communicate to each other saying, you know, careful, this guy doesn't seem happy, and then they just remove the rocks when we arrive without asking.
Let's be honest, on this road we also discover how people live on poorer region of Guatemala, isolated economically in part by the poor condition of the road, but also socially. This gives perspective on why such practice exists, noting that not only tourists suffer consequences, but also Guatemalans themselves. So to the question how it is to drive in Guatemala, the response is that if you adventure yourself off some of the main axes, it will be tiring, but you will learn a lot. After the climb and over the mountain pass, the block stopped, and we continued our way over the next valley.
The roads here are pretty sweet, and we are on the edge of the cliffs here, driving through the very dense forest. Look at this all around, it's just epic. And we're just driving down these roads, and when we meet and cross a car, we have to be really tight to let each other pass. Check it, the road's gonna go down there now and somewhere down the valley. Amazing. And Moustique is out and the videos are coming.
the feeling when you get back on concrete?
So good. I had to like crack my back twice because it was like.
And it's busy here.
Ouais, c'est vraiment le dia del mercado, là. C'est bon. I think we deserve this time out after the road of today.
Over the next days, we embarked for the last stretch of concrete to reach Guatemala City. It was supposed to be a rather uneventful and not super interesting drive through more urban areas. But once again, a random turn of the main road to find a place to sleep rewarded us with the nicest encounter. Let me introduce you to Joelle and Yameli.
On our way to Guatemala City, we just were looking for a place to sleep tonight, and we met Joelle on his motorcycle on this little track where we were, and he showed us the place where we wanted to go, but we couldn't bring the car there, so he was like, okay, just come and camp at my place then. So now we're following Joelle to his place.
He's a local from Guatemala. He owns 50 cows, and his business is purchase the cows when they're born, keep them for a year, and sell them the year after. So he says everything works well. I like, you know, the process. I like the revenue. I like the, you know, the stability of it. And I have always a buyer who buys all 50 cows, and that's enough for me.
La casa de Joelle ahora.
This is him right here, and this is his house. The houses over there that you see are that's his brother. The whole land which you see over there is where he keeps all his cows, and he's the sole owner of all this, and he's the one who works here. That's the grandma, so his mother, and behind there's the sisters, and so there's quite a lot of people. There's like 6 of them, so 2 girls, 4 guys, and this is Jorge. Joel, disculpa. Mucho gusto.
Tu fais pas du tout avec la même confiance.
No way.
Salut Mimi. The place is beautiful, and it's sunset now, so we're going to eat together in town, I think. But first he's showing us the property, and tomorrow we'll help him with taking care of the cows. And now we have Nick and Joelle running after the cows that escaped the fields for the night. Look at Nick! He did that his whole life for sure. So funny.
Now we're going out for pizza, so we're taking his car. That's Mathilde talking to his wife, and off we go.
No pensás, o sea, no estaban en tus planes.
No.
Así es la vida, va.
Sí, esa es la vida.
A veces no hay planes.
Can you imagine? We met these guys literally 2-3 hours ago, and now we went and ordered pizza, so Domino's pizza, and we're here with all of them watching some Spanish guy going through Guatemala, and we're all having dinner together. This is exactly where we travel, and we love it. It's amazing. We walked all the way to the top of the hill to look at the almost full moon, and we're here with Joelle and his family and the little kid, and there's his brother.
Mi abuelo lo que hizo que vendió allá y se vinieron para acá y compraron aquí.
Sí.
Ya mi abuelo le dejó a mi papá y mi papá a nosotros.
So this morning we woke up not too early. I think they changed the time for us maybe. But we woke up to go help Joelle. So just like we promised, we went to help Joelle with his cows. I mean, he didn't really need help, but we were so happy to learn about his work and finding a way to thank him for welcoming us like he did.
Entonces, 18 meses.
Un año y medio.
Año y medio. Año.
¿Año?
Y estos andan como en unos 10 meses.
10 meses.
10, 11 meses.
Ok.
Ajá. Y como si aquellos comen con estos,
Sí, comen
aquellos
todo.
les pegan a estos.
Ah,
por
sí.
eso
Por
los
eso que
Separan.
Y pongo todo.
regado.
Salad, salt, grains. This is just like a mixed salad for cows. Ultimate dish.
You know it's time to eat, huh? You guys are excited. Look at you right behind the fence. Oh, there it is. Hey, don't all rush in at once.
Sí, siempre estamos comunicados, ahí un saludito.
Sí, sí.
Y aquí estamos a la orden.
Sí.
Cualquier cosa que
Sí.
quieras venir con tu familia o tu mamá, aquí está.
Yo les digo, perfecto.
Aquí los puedes traer.
Gracias.
Que nos quiero bastante, ¿oíste?
Gracias. Gracias amigos. Chao, chao. An immense thank you to Joelle and Amélie for the invitation. They were great hosts. We had an absolute great time and we learned tons about Guatemala. We could ask all of our questions, you know, like why do people like honk on the road? What are the meaning of some words? So a really awesome time.
And it's really cool because we got to visit their ranch. We got to do everything they do normally on our ranch. We started at 7 a.m. working on the ranch and it was tons of fun. And he's very inclusive. He kept, you know, telling us things and helping us out, and it was really awesome. And to explain what Mathilde was saying about the honking, for the honking, it's actually just a way of saying hi and goodbye. So when a car arrives, they honk, and then when they leave, they honk again. So we always thought like we're doing something wrong, but no. So now we're gonna start honking too. And now we're on our way to the next event, which we also said yes to, but more on this very soon.
A little hint, we are going to Guatemala City.
That's it for this week. Next week we embark for a new Guatemalan adventure. I'm sure you'll love it. If you want to embark on this world tour with us, it's easy. Just subscribe to the channel. Until next week, take care!
What is her name?
Yeah,
I'm gonna call her Claudia.
Claudia. Okay, sexy name.
I know, right?
Claudia.